Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I have a kid-free morning here in the kitchen to get some stuff done, and I figured I would turn the camera on and have a little chat while we do this. I'm sure you're sick of the kitchen chat days by now. It is March 1st. This last week we had here in Minnesota was super nice, and when I say super nice, I mean it was just barely above freezing, long enough to melt most of the snow. So for us, that's very nice. We've had a long, cold winter. And so I'm hoping tomorrow I can wrap this video up with some goat, chicken, horse action out in the Quonset, and spice things up a little bit on that end of things because you haven't really seen them very often. My phone dies when it's too cold outside. So today is on the colder side. It's in the 20s, and I think it's supposed to be in the 20s. It might not quite be there yet. But it's supposed to jump back up and be like 50 on Monday even. So exciting, exciting. I have to get some food stuff going to prep for the week. And I figured we could chat today about some food preparations, grocery budget, some things that we personally do to save money, save ourselves from falling into the trap that is unhealthy convenience foods, which I also want to preface this by saying I may use some terms that are a little offensive if you want to take them that way. I am not going to sit there and judge you for what you feed your family, but I do personally have standards for how I feed my family. And when I speak on them, I don't speak with condemnation towards other people and their choices. I strictly speak upon my beliefs with my children, myself, and my husband, and how I want us to live, because I know what an impact it makes on us personally. That's where that comes from. I do not mean any hate or judgment by that at all. If you are somebody who gets offended by talks of food and ingredients and all of that stuff, this may not be a conversation for you to be a part of. I can only filter so much of what I say before it becomes untruthful to our family and how we live. Food is something I'm very passionate about. Feeding my children well is something I'm very passionate about. But again, I don't say things with condemnation towards other people. This is strictly what I want to do for my family. I just baked some burgers. I got 2 pounds of burgers right here. I will mostly eat these burgers myself. I'm down 45 pounds now in the last year or so, and I wasn't intentionally losing weight. I have some health issues that very much are affected by my nutrition and what I eat. Now, as far as food preparation goes and like convenience food options, I have a running list on my refrigerator that I like to always have prepared ahead of time, so it is easier to grab a quick breakfast or grab a quick lunch or grab a quick snack for me and my kids, or a lunch prepped for my husband, so that we know that we can rely on the food we're eating is good. So I'm in the kitchen a lot. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Every day I have a few things that I need to prepare, and these are some of those examples. Burgers is one of those examples. I always like to have some in the fridge so I can have a good, clean lunch. Sausage. I used to buy these turkey sausage patties, and my kids were eating them up like crazy. My husband was eating them up like crazy, and I'm realizing, oh my goodness, these are expensive. So I found that exact same turkey sausage in a tube. So I just fry up 2 pounds of that turkey sausage once a week, and it makes enough sausage to last us, the week through the week. And I just cut them up into little patties. It's the same thing, and it's half price. So that's been a money saver, which is another thing that I've been really trying to focus on lately. I would call those sausage patties convenient, but they're double the price if I were to just put 10 minutes of work in and You know, so if you have the time, start looking into easy swaps like that if you're wanting to, and it goes a long ways. Another thing that I make from scratch, you've seen me make them probably 100 times at this point, granola balls. My kids can put those away. My husband eats at least 3 or 4 a day. I mean, unfortunately, they take 20 minutes to make and they only last a week, but it's better ingredients. I know what's in them and I feel good about my family eating them. So, mayo. If I were to go to the store and look for an organic mayo made with avocado oil, I would probably spend $8-9. It takes 2 minutes to make it. It lasts several weeks if I wanted to or needed to. I can also use that to make an aioli if I want to top it on sweet potatoes or fish or anything else. Or if I have hard-boiled eggs, which I always try to have a whole container of hard-boiled eggs in the fridge also. It makes quick deviled eggs. Like, it's so nice to have that on hand at all times, and it's so much cheaper if you make it yourself. This is my taco seasoning. I always try to have some of this. This goes a long ways. This is made fresh from seasonings that I have, and yeah, you only need to use this half of what you do if you were to buy the container of taco seasoning, and you don't have the preservatives in it. You don't have the extra junk you don't need. It's literally just spices. So I know what's in it. It tastes way better. It goes a lot farther, and it takes 15 minutes to prepare. So, and I have a whole thing of fajita seasoning in there too for the same reason. Shredded cheese. I've talked about that before. It's only about every 2-3 months that I need to shred cheese, and I just buy these big 2-pound blocks of cheese, cut them up, use my KitchenAid mixer attachment to shred the cheese, and I store it in my freezer. And I just grab a bag out of the freezer whenever I need it. That lasts in the fridge for, we probably go through 1 bag every week. And then I just keep going. Hard-boiled eggs, like I mentioned, I like to try to keep a dozen in the fridge for a couple weeks. And then after they're a couple weeks old, I'll hard boil them and peel them and have them in there so I can grab a quick high protein snack. Pancake and waffle mix. I started making that a long time ago now. We don't make pancakes very often. Once every couple, 2-3 weeks. I just don't like that high amount of gluten for my kids. So I make it with whole grain wheat, so that's nice. It's super easy, super simple, and it takes the time when you actually go to make the pancakes, it cuts it in half. So it's worth it to me in that aspect. Bread, of course, I always have bread in the freezer. I have a bread machine. You've seen it before. My husband uses bread for sandwiches every day. And then my kids, like I said, I try not to feed my kids a whole lot of gluten. So they'll have bread or toast with a specific meal that we have if I do like pizza toast or something. But otherwise it's nice to have on hand if they want it for part of their lunch or dinner or whatever. I've also started making whole wheat bread. So again, if I want to feed my kids bread, I can give them a whole wheat piece of bread and feel a little less guilty about it, because whole wheat has a lot more nutrient value in it than regular white flour does. Unfortunately, whole wheat is a lot harder to work with, especially when you're dealing with yeast and rising things. And I already have enough issues with that as is. Another thing I have on my list here is either an egg bake or egg muffins, which you've seen me make both of those, I think. And you can throw peppers in it, you can throw onions in it, you can throw sausage in it, you can throw whatever you want into them. And it's kind of like a full rounded meal, but it's something you can warm up super quick if it's already pre-made. So those are some examples. Other things that I do not keep on hand anymore. I have a running list that I keep trying to add to and work from as far as making more things from scratch. Some of my more recent things, I don't buy spaghetti sauce anymore. I don't buy pizza sauce anymore. I just always have a bunch of tomato paste in my pantry, and I use that and make whatever I'm looking for. The other day I made some grilled cheese for my kids and my dad when he was visiting with sourdough, which a friend had given me. And I figured I would whip up some quick tomato soup with that, and I used tomato paste, and I whipped up a little tomato soup with that too, so that was really good. So I've learned that I don't need any of those canned tomato products at all. I just need tomato paste, and I can do whatever I want with it, and it's way cheaper. It goes a lot farther. As far as our grocery budget goes, I think in December is the first month that I actually paid attention to the grocery bill. We are very, very fortunate to not have to penny pinch or crunch numbers or stress too much about whether or not we're going to be able to eat. And I do not take that lightly because I've been there. However, again, the standard that we eat is not cheap. And the more and more things that I cook from scratch is less money used towards that. So December was the first month that I counted and I tracked and I paid attention. And this may not be a high number for some, but for me, it was mind-boggling. We spent over $1,400 on groceries in the month of December. And that's mostly ingredients. And that's not including our milk. That's not including our beef. And that is not including our eggs, because our eggs are free. The milk, we only spend about $3 a gallon, and it's super good quality, and I can do a lot of things with it. So it's wild. I was already, at that point, I'm already making bread. I'm already doing a lot of things from scratch, but I was also buying high quality like snacks that we didn't necessarily need. And it was sucking us dry. So my challenge for January was, I don't think I set a specific goal for myself, but I remember thinking, okay, I need to really start paying attention to numbers. I really need to start looking at the prices of things and thinking, what else can I do in replace of this, or can we do without this? And by January, our grocery bill was only $660. I dropped our grocery bill in half just by paying attention for the first time. Just by paying attention. This month, this February, our month just ended, and I was able to go from $660 down. I told my husband that I was going to challenge myself to keep it under $600 for the month of February, and he did not think I could do it, but I spent $540, I think it ended up being, for the month of February on groceries. That is crazy. So now my biggest dilemma is, okay, how much more can I drop that? Or is like 550 a good ending goal? So again, this last couple months when I've been paying attention to the grocery bill is the same time that I'm like, oh no, I don't need spaghetti sauce. I can make that myself. I don't need pizza sauce. I can make that myself. I don't need this or this or this. I can make it myself. Or I could find other ways to make it happen without buying this. So if you start paying attention to your grocery bills, you might find that as a huge incentive to learn how to cook from scratch a little bit more. So those convenience foods are not going to be kind to your body, and they're not going to be kind to your wallet. So here's your little boost of encouragement or enthusiasm to find something, just one thing in your house that you can replace. Whether it's mayo, whether it's pizza sauce, whether it's making new things that you wouldn't have necessarily had in your fridge to begin with, that you could be like, oh no, that's actually a good source of protein or nutrition, rather than just not having it at all. Make some bread. There's so many things you can do, and I hope this is a good challenge for you guys to start. I'm done talking about food. There are a couple more things that I wanted to bring up. Unfortunately, we lost our last barn cat, Kimball. She had disappeared in a huge cold snap. She'd been struggling with some respiratory distress, and she started losing weight, and at no point did we think she was suffering, and my husband went out to go do chores one evening and found her dead. So Not sure exactly what was the whole issue to begin with her. We had taken her to the vet, and the vet said, I think you're right. I think it's just herpes virus and the cold weather stressing her out. She looks healthy. Even though she had lost a lot of weight, she wasn't emaciated by any means because she was pretty chubby to begin with. So hoping she didn't suffer. It was a really big feeling of defeat because we've lost 2 barn cats now. And I like to pride myself on taking good care of my animals, and it just feels like a giant failure. I feel like I failed both the Gem and Kimball this year. I don't think I want to get any more barn cats as of yet. I hope we don't have a huge issue with mice. Mice I'm not worried about because the chickens can take care of them, but they're rats. I think the cats were a big deterrent for the rats, and I worry that they'll come back full force. But I think we still have a tomcat running around out there, and as long as we feed him, he might keep coming back. But not much else excitement going on. I'll bring you guys outside with me tomorrow when I go check up on the critters, and I might actually go walk up to my garden now that we're not covered in snow, and see if I can do any preparation out there as far as throwing some manure down or whatever. But, well, thanks for chatting with me. If you stuck around this long, we'll see you tomorrow. Hey, girls. That's a treat. Come on, boy. Boy. Come on, Lyle. Come on, boy. It's a little deep there. Quite a big drift. Well, I guess I'm not going into my garden just yet.